Tears unfolded. Part 2, final. Emma woke before dawn. For a few seconds she didn't remember where she was. Then she saw the ceiling, the old house, the room where she had spent her childhood. She sat up slowly. Her breathing was uneven. Something was wrong. She could feel it, not around her, inside her. Emma looked at her hands. The black symbol was still there, a circle surrounded by 3 smaller circles. She touched it. Pain shot through her fingers. She pulled her hand away. "No," a whisper answered. "You remember me." Emma froze. She looked around the room. Nobody was there. "Who's there?" Silence. Then the voice came again. "You already know." Emma's heart began pounding. The first guardian. A quiet laugh echoed inside her mind. "That is what they called me." Emma stood. "You're inside me." "Yes." "Get out." The room became cold. "You don't understand what you carry." "I understand enough." "No, Emma. You understand what they wanted you to believe." She stared at the mirror. Her reflection stared back. Then, for a fraction of a second, her reflection smiled. Emma stepped backward. "No." The reflection returned to normal. Emma closed her eyes. "Daniel." She ran from the room, down the stairs, into the hallway. Daniel was already awake. He was standing beside the window. When he saw her face, he immediately understood. "What happened?" "He's talking to me." Daniel went pale. "How long?" "Since I woke up." He approached carefully. "Don't answer him." "I already did." Daniel closed his eyes. "Emma." "What?" "There was something I never told you." She stared at him. Of course there was. His expression broke. "I didn't know how to tell you." "Then tell me now." Daniel looked toward the doorway. "Nora needs to be here." Emma turned. "Nora?" Daniel nodded. "She knows what happens next." A voice came from behind them. "No." Nora stood in the doorway. She was crying. Daniel turned. "Nora." "You shouldn't have told her." Emma looked between them. "What happens next?" Nora didn't answer. Emma stepped toward her. "What happens to me?" Nora finally looked into her eyes. "You begin to disappear." Silence. Emma's heart stopped. "What?" Nora walked closer. "The first guardian cannot remain inside a living person forever. So he leaves." "No." Nora's voice trembled. "He replaces you." Emma stared at her. "How long?" Nora looked down. "I don't know. Tell me." "Days." Emma's face went pale. "Days. Maybe weeks." Daniel stepped forward. "We can stop it." Nora shook her head. "Not the way you think." Emma looked at Daniel. "What can we do?" He hesitated. The voice inside Emma whispered, "Ask him about your mother." Emma froze. What did he mean? Daniel's face changed. Emma whispered, "Why is he talking about my mother?" Daniel looked away. "Because she knew." "Knew what?" "That this would happen." Emma's eyes filled with tears. "You knew this could happen to me?" "Yes." "And you said nothing." "I was trying to protect you." "You always say that." Daniel lowered his head. "I know." Emma walked away. "I'm tired of being protected by lies." Nora followed her. "Emma." She stopped. "What did my mother know?" Nora was silent for a long moment. Then she whispered, "She knew the guardian could only enter this world through someone who had crossed the boundary and returned." Emma understood. "Me." Nora nodded. "And she knew I would eventually become the doorway." Emma looked at her. "Why didn't she kill me?" Nora's eyes filled with tears. "Because she loved you." She could have stopped this. She could have. "Then why didn't she?" Nora stepped closer. "Because your mother discovered something." "What?" "The guardian wasn't trying to possess you." Emma frowned. Then what does he want? Nora looked directly into her eyes. He wants to remember. Emma's breathing slowed. Remember what? Nora whispered. His daughter. Emma stared at her. Nora. Yes, you're his daughter. Nora nodded. But there is something you still don't know. Emma waited. Nora took her hand. The woman you called your sister, she swallowed, was never Nora. Emma froze. What? Nora's eyes filled with tears. I am her memory. The room became silent. Emma couldn't speak. Nora continued. When the original Nora died, your grandmother refused to let her disappear. She put her memory inside me. Emma shook her head. No. That is why I can cross the boundary. That is why you know everything. Nora nodded. And that is why the Guardian wants me. Emma looked toward the mirror. The voice returned. Now you understand. Emma stared at her reflection. The symbol on her hand began to glow. Nora stepped backward. Emma. The room filled with cold air. The mirror cracked. A shadow appeared behind Emma. Daniel reached for her. Don't move. But it was already too late. Emma's reflection turned toward her. And this time, it wasn't Emma. It was the first Guardian. He looked at her through the glass. Bring me my daughter. Nora began to cry. Emma stepped forward. No. The Guardian smiled. Then I will take you instead. The mirror shattered. Darkness filled the room, and Emma heard her mother's voice for the first time in 20 years. Run, my little girl. Emma froze, because the voice wasn't coming from the past. It was coming from somewhere beneath the house. Daniel heard it too. He looked at Nora. Nora whispered, "The first door." Emma stared at the floor. What is beneath us? Daniel's face became terrified. The place your mother died. Emma stepped toward the stairs. Then that's where we're going. And beneath the old house, something opened its eyes. The floor beneath them trembled. Emma stared at the old wooden boards. Something was moving underneath the house, not scratching, not knocking, breathing, slowly, like something enormous had been sleeping beneath them for centuries. Daniel grabbed a lantern. We need to leave. Emma shook her head. No. Emma, my mother is down there. We don't know that. I heard her. Nora looked toward the floor. So did I. Daniel closed his eyes. He knew. There was no turning back. He walked toward the old fireplace. Behind it was a stone wall covered with faded symbols. Emma approached. I've seen these before. Daniel looked at her. Where? In my memories. She touched one of the symbols. The wall moved. A hidden staircase appeared. Cold air rushed upward. Emma looked into the darkness. How long has this been here? Daniel answered quietly. Longer than this house. They descended. One step, then another. The deeper they went, the colder it became. Emma could hear whispers. At first she couldn't understand them. Then she recognized the voices. Her mother, her grandmother, Nora, Daniel, even her own voice, all speaking at once. Don't open it. You have to open it. Run. Remember. Emma stopped. Do you hear that? Daniel nodded. Nora whispered. The memories are trapped here. They reached the bottom. A massive stone chamber opened before them. At the center stood a black door. There was no handle, no lock. Only the same symbol that had appeared on Emma's hand. 3 circles surrounding one. Emma stepped closer. The mark on her palm began to burn. Daniel grabbed her arm. Don't touch it. She looked at him. Why? Because that's the first door. Emma stared. What is behind it? Daniel's voice trembled. The beginning. Nora corrected him. The beginning of everything we were told was the beginning. Emma turned. What does that mean? Nora looked at the door. The first people who crossed the boundary didn't discover it. They created it. Emma frowned. Why? Nora whispered. Because something was already here. The room became silent. A voice came from behind the door. Emma. She froze. It was the first guardian. Daniel stepped in front of her. Don't listen. But the voice continued. You have spent your entire life believing I was the monster. Emma stared at the door. What are you? Silence. Then, a father. Nora closed her eyes. Emma looked at her. Your daughter? Nora nodded. The guardian continued. They took her from me. Emma's voice became softer. Why? Because she discovered the truth. What truth? The dead were never meant to remain dead. Daniel shouted, Don't believe him! The guardian laughed. Ask him what your mother discovered. Emma turned toward Daniel. What did she discover? Daniel looked at the floor. Emma, what did she discover? He finally answered. She discovered that the boundary could be destroyed. Emma's eyes widened. And she wanted to destroy it? Yes. Why? Because people were trapped between worlds. Emma looked at Nora. Were you trapped? Nora nodded. For years. The guardian spoke again. She tried to free us. Emma whispered, and failed. No. The voice became softer. She succeeded. Emma froze. What? Daniel's face turned pale. The door began to glow. The guardian continued. Your mother opened the first door. Emma stepped backward, but she died. She didn't die. Emma's heart stopped. Daniel looked away. The guardian whispered. She crossed. Emma couldn't breathe. My mother is alive? Nora grabbed her hand. Not the way you think. Emma pulled away. No. She looked at Daniel. You told me she was dead. I thought she was. You saw her? Yes. Then why? Because she told me to let you believe she was gone. Emma's tears began to fall. She was protecting me. Daniel nodded. From him. The guardian laughed. From all of them. The black door opened slightly. A thin line of white light appeared. Emma heard her mother's voice again. This time it was clearer. Emma. She stepped forward. Mom? Daniel tried to stop her. But Emma touched the door. The symbol on her hand flashed. The door opened. Light flooded the chamber. Emma saw a woman standing on the other side. Older. Tired. But unmistakable. Her mother. Emma stopped breathing. Mom. The woman smiled. My little girl. Emma ran. She passed through the doorway, and suddenly, everything disappeared. No chamber, no darkness, no Daniel, no Nora, only a vast white landscape. Her mother stood before her. Emma fell into her arms. For the first time in 20 years, she felt home. I thought you were dead. Her mother held her tightly. I wanted you to believe I was. Why? Because the guardian was watching you. Emma pulled away. Where are we? Her mother looked around. The space between memory and death. Emma's eyes widened. Can I bring you back? Her mother smiled sadly. No. Why? Because I am part of the boundary now. Emma began to cry. No. Her mother touched her face. You came here because you were meant to finish what I started. What? Close the first door. Emma looked behind her. The doorway was already disappearing. Her mother whispered, But there is one thing you must understand. What? The guardian isn't the only thing behind it. Emma turned. Something moved in the distance. Something enormous. Something older than the Guardian. Her mother's expression changed. That is what he has been afraid of. Emma stared into the white darkness. What is it? Her mother took her hand. The reason the boundary was created. A deep sound echoed through the space, like thousands of voices breathing together. Emma looked back at her mother. What happens if I close the door? Her mother smiled through her tears. You will have to choose. Choose what? Between remembering everyone. She touched Emma's heart. And finally being free. The doorway began collapsing. Emma heard Daniel shouting her name from far away. Her mother kissed her forehead. Go. I can't leave you again. You aren't leaving me. Her mother smiled. You're carrying my memory. Emma cried. Mom, go. The light began to consume everything. Emma reached for her. Her mother's final words echoed through the space. Love survives every boundary. Then, Emma was thrown backward. She landed on the stone floor. Daniel caught her. Emma! She opened her eyes. Nora was kneeling beside her. The first door was closed, but the symbol on Emma's hand had changed. The 3 circles were gone. Only one remained, and beneath it, a new mark had appeared, a small silver tear. Nora stared at it. What happened? Emma looked toward the sealed door. My mother. Daniel whispered, She's gone. Emma shook her head. No. She touched the silver tear. She isn't. The chamber trembled again. Nora looked toward the darkness. Then what is that? A deep voice answered from somewhere beneath them. You opened the wrong door. Emma stood. Daniel raised the lantern. The darkness behind them moved, and for the first time, even the first Guardian was silent. The chamber went silent. Emma stood beside Daniel. Nora remained frozen. The voice came again. You opened the wrong door. Emma looked toward the darkness. Who are you? Nothing answered. Daniel raised the lantern. The flame flickered, then went out. Darkness swallowed the chamber. Emma heard footsteps, slow, heavy, coming closer. Daniel whispered, Don't move. Emma reached for his hand. I can hear something. Nora whispered, So can I. A shape appeared at the far end of the chamber. It was tall, too tall. Its body seemed to be made of shadows, but its face, Emma recognized it. It was her own face. Older, broken, covered in tears. Emma stepped backward. No. The figure smiled. You finally came home. Emma's blood ran cold. What are you? The figure tilted its head. I am what remains when a memory refuses to die. Nora shook her head. That isn't possible. The figure looked at her. You should know better than anyone. Nora began to cry. Emma looked at her. What does it mean? Nora whispered. It's the forgotten. The what? Memories that were erased. Emma stared. There are memories that can survive being forgotten. Nora nodded. They don't disappear. They become something else. Daniel stepped forward. How many? The figure answered, all of them. The chamber began filling with whispers. Hundreds, thousands, names, faces, lives. Emma heard her grandmother, her mother, children she had never met, people who had died centuries ago. She covered her ears. Stop. The whispers grew louder. Then the figure spoke. Your world is built on forgotten things. Emma looked at it. Why did the first Guardian create the boundary? He didn't. Emma froze. What? He found it. Nora's face went pale. The boundary existed before him. The figure nodded. The first people discovered a place where memory could become alive. Emma whispered, and they opened it. Yes. Daniel asked, why? The figure looked at him. Because they wanted their dead back. Emma remembered her mother's words. Love survives every boundary, but now she understood the danger. They brought the dead back. The figure smiled. They brought back memories of the dead. Emma frowned. What is the difference? The figure stepped closer. A dead person is gone. It pointed toward Emma. A memory is not. Emma stared. It can change. It can grow. It can become something else. Exactly. Nora whispered, and eventually, the figure answered, it can become alive. Silence. Emma looked at the shadow. Then what are you? The figure smiled. The first memory that became alive. Daniel stepped backward. That can't be. The figure turned toward him. Your family has spent generations trying to destroy me. Emma stared. Why? Because I remember everything. The words echoed. Emma suddenly understood. The Guardian had never been the true enemy. He had been protecting the boundary. Protecting the living from the forgotten. Protecting the forgotten from something else. Emma whispered. He wasn't trying to get out. Nora looked at her. He was trying to keep them in. Daniel's face fell. Then everything we believed was wrong, Emma finished. The figure smiled. Now you understand. Emma stepped forward. Why did you bring me here? Because you are the only one who can choose. Choose what? The figure pointed toward the sealed door. The door can remain closed. Emma waited. Or you can open it. And if I open it? The figure's smile disappeared. The forgotten will enter your world. Emma looked at Daniel. And if I keep it closed? The figure answered. You will remain the doorway. Emma felt the mark on her hand burn. You mean me? Yes. If I remain the doorway, what happens? The boundary will live inside you. Emma's eyes filled with tears. And eventually, you will become the next Guardian. Nora gasped. No. Emma looked at her. You knew. Nora shook her head. I didn't know. You did. I knew there was a price. Daniel stepped closer. Emma, there has to be another way. The figure laughed. There is always another way. Emma looked at it. What? Give the boundary back. How? The figure pointed toward Nora. Emma turned. Nora froze. No. The figure continued. She is the original memory. Emma stared at Nora. You. Nora's tears fell. I don't want this. If I give the boundary to you, you will disappear. Emma shook her head. No. Nora stepped toward her. Emma, I won't let you. You already saved me once. I can save you again. Nora smiled sadly. You don't understand. She touched Emma's cheek. I was never meant to live this long. Emma shook her head. Don't say that. My life has always been borrowed. No. Nora looked at Daniel. Tell her. Daniel looked away. Emma turned to him. Tell me. Daniel's voice broke. Nora was dying when your grandmother placed her memory inside you. Emma stared. She survived because part of her entered you. Nora nodded. That part became me. Emma began crying. So if the boundary leaves me, Nora whispered, it comes back to me. And you die. Nora smiled. Finally. Emma shook her head violently. No. The figure watched them. Choose. Emma looked at Nora. Then Daniel. Then the sealed door. She closed her eyes. She thought about her mother, about the years she had lost, about every memory that had been stolen from her. And finally, she understood. The boundary didn't need a guardian. It needed someone willing to let go. Emma opened her eyes. I choose neither. The figure became still. What? Emma stepped toward the center of the chamber. I won't become the guardian. She looked at Nora. And I won't sacrifice you. The darkness began to tremble. The figure's voice became angry. Then what will you do? Emma looked at the symbol on her hand. I'll destroy the boundary. Daniel's face went pale. Emma. She smiled through her tears. If there is no boundary. She looked toward the darkness. There is nothing left to guard. The chamber exploded with light. The Forgotten screamed. Nora reached for Emma. Daniel shouted her name, and somewhere beyond the sealed door, something ancient began to wake. Not the Guardian. Not the Forgotten. Something older. Something that had been waiting since the first human death. Emma whispered, I remember. And the entire world went dark. Emma opened her eyes. She was standing in darkness. Not the darkness of the chamber. Not the darkness between worlds. This darkness was different. It had no beginning, no end, no sound. Emma looked down. Her body was still there, but she could see through her hands. She was becoming transparent. Emma, Daniel's voice echoed somewhere far away. She turned. Nothing. Nora. Silence. Then a small light appeared, a single memory. Emma reached for it. The moment her fingers touched it, she saw her mother, young, holding a baby. Emma. Her mother was crying. Not from sadness, from fear. A man stood beside her, the first Guardian. But he was younger, human, alive. Emma watched them argue. You can't keep doing this. Her mother shook her head. She is the only one who can end it. The man looked at the baby. She is a child. She will grow. And when she does, she will choose. The memory faded. Emma stepped backward. No. Another light appeared. This time, Nora. A little girl, running through a garden. Her father was behind her, laughing. For the first time, Emma saw him as something other than a monster. He loved Nora. He truly loved her. Then the memory changed. Nora became sick. Her father held her. Please. The original Nora whispered. I don't want to disappear. He cried. You won't. I will. You won't. I already feel it. He pressed his forehead against hers. I'll find a way. The memory changed again. A young woman entered the room, Emma's grandmother. She carried a strange silver bowl. Nora's father stood. What are you doing? Saving her. You can't. I can preserve her memory. You'll destroy her. I'll preserve what remains. Nora looked at her father. Papa. He grabbed her hand. Don't let them take you. But the light swallowed her. Emma closed her eyes. Now she understood. The first Guardian hadn't created the boundary out of evil. He had created it out of grief. He had lost his daughter, and he had spent centuries trying to bring her back. But somewhere along the way, his grief became obsession. His love became control, and the boundary became a prison. Emma whispered, You weren't evil. A voice answered, No. Emma turned. The first Guardian stood behind her. He no longer looked monstrous. He looked like an old man, tired, broken, a father who had been waiting far too long. I was afraid. Emma stared at him. You wanted Nora back. Yes. But you couldn't accept that she was gone. He lowered his eyes. No. Emma stepped closer. You made everyone suffer because you couldn't let her go. Tears appeared in his eyes. I know. Emma's voice softened. You don't have to keep doing this. He looked at her. How do I stop? Emma touched the silver tear on her palm. Let her go. The Guardian shook his head. I can't. You can. She is all I have left. Emma looked at him. No. She smiled sadly. She isn't. The Guardian stared. Emma touched her heart. She lives here. The old man began to cry. For the first time in centuries, he allowed himself to grieve. A light appeared behind him. The original Nora. Not a memory, not a shadow, not a fragment. She stood there as she had been when she was young. Papa. The guardian turned. Nora. She smiled. You found me. He fell to his knees. I looked everywhere. I know. I couldn't let you go. I know. I was afraid. I know. Nora touched his face. You can rest now. He closed his eyes. The darkness around them began to disappear. The boundary trembled. Emma felt herself falling. Nora. Nora turned toward her. Emma. What happens now? Nora smiled. You choose. Choose what? Whether memories should control the living. She touched Emma's heart. Or live inside them without becoming their prison. Emma looked around. Thousands of memories floated through the darkness. Some beautiful. Some painful. Some forgotten. Emma understood. She couldn't destroy memory, and she couldn't save everyone from pain, but she could choose what to do with it. Emma closed her eyes. I choose to remember. The darkness exploded into light. Every memory returned to its rightful place. The forgotten voices became quiet. The shadows disappeared. The first guardian looked at Nora one last time. Then he smiled and vanished. Emma fell, down, 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 until she heard Daniel. Emma! Her body hit the stone floor. Daniel caught her. Nora was beside them. Emma opened her eyes. The chamber was still. The first door was gone. The black symbol had disappeared from her hand. Only the silver tear remained. Daniel stared at her. Are you alive? Emma smiled weakly. Yes. He laughed through tears, then hugged her. Nora joined them. For a moment, nobody spoke. They simply held each other. Then Emma looked toward the place where the door had been. It's over. Daniel whispered, Is it? Emma looked at him. Yes. She touched the silver tear. He finally let her go. Nora smiled, and so did we. They walked upstairs. For the first time in decades, the old house felt empty. Not haunted, not dangerous, just quiet. Morning light filled the windows. Emma stepped outside. The sky was turning gold. She breathed deeply. Fresh air, sunlight, life. She looked at Nora. You're still here. Nora smiled. For now. Emma frowned. What does that mean? Nora laughed. It means I finally get to find out what life feels like. Emma hugged her. Daniel stood behind them. The three of them watched the sunrise. Emma thought about everything she had lost. Her mother, her childhood, the years stolen by fear, the memories she had been forced to carry. But she no longer felt broken. She finally understood something. Healing didn't mean forgetting. It meant remembering without allowing the past to control the future. Emma looked toward the horizon, and somewhere inside her, she heard her mother's voice, soft, warm, peaceful. Love survives every boundary. Emma smiled. But then, the silver tear on her palm began to glow. She looked down. A tiny crack appeared through the symbol. Daniel noticed. Emma. She didn't answer. The crack widened. A single whisper escaped from it. Not the first guardian. Not the forgotten. A new voice. A woman's voice. There is still one memory left. Emma's smile disappeared. Nora stepped closer. What did you hear? Emma looked at her. I don't know. The silver tear went dark. Then the wind stopped. Emma stared toward the horizon, and for the first time since she returned from death, she felt something she had never felt before. Not fear, not grief, recognition. Someone was remembering her, somewhere, and that meant someone was still waiting. The morning remained strangely quiet. Emma stood at the edge of the old house, staring at the horizon. The silver tear on her palm had stopped glowing, but she could still feel it. Something was different. Something had changed. Daniel walked toward her. "You heard something?" Emma nodded. "A voice. What did it say?" She looked down at her hand. There is still one memory left. Nora approached slowly. "Whose memory?" Emma shook her head. "I don't know." Daniel looked toward the house. "Maybe we should leave." Emma looked at him. "For the first time, I don't want to run." Daniel smiled. "Then we don't run." Nora looked at Emma. "We face it." Emma nodded. They went back inside. The house was completely different in daylight. The shadows that once seemed alive were gone. The old photographs remained on the walls. Emma stopped before one. It was her mother, standing beside a man Emma didn't recognize. She touched the photograph, then froze. The man looked familiar, very familiar. She had seen him before, in her memories, in the chamber, beside her mother. Emma whispered, "Who is he?" Daniel looked at the photograph. His face changed. "That," he swallowed. "That was your grandfather." Emma stared. "My grandfather?" Daniel nodded. "He died before you were born." Emma looked at the photograph again. Her grandfather was holding something, a small silver pendant, the same shape as the tear on her hand. Emma touched her palm. The silver tear began glowing again. Nora stepped closer. "Emma." The photograph moved. Not physically. The image changed. Her grandfather turned his head and looked directly at Emma. She stepped backward. "What is happening?" A voice came from the photograph. "I knew you would come." Daniel froze. Nora covered her mouth. Emma stared. "Grandfather?" The photograph began to glow. A memory opened. Emma was pulled into it. Suddenly, she was standing in a small room. Her grandfather was there, alive, young. Her mother was beside him, and in his hands, the silver pendant. He spoke. "If you're seeing this, then the boundary is gone." Emma looked around. "This is a memory." Her grandfather smiled. "Yes. But you're dead." "I know." "Then why are you here?" "Because I left something for you." He opened his hand. The pendant became a small light. This was created before the first door. Emma stepped closer. "What does it do?" "It doesn't open doors." "Then what?" He smiled. "It closes them." Emma looked at the silver tear on her palm. "Why didn't anyone tell me?" "Because your mother wanted you to have a normal life." Emma's eyes filled with tears. "She failed." Her grandfather shook his head. "No. She gave you something more important." "What?" "Choice." Emma looked at him. "What choice?" He stepped closer. "The ability to remember without becoming trapped." Emma understood. The silver tear wasn't a doorway. It was a seal, the final seal. The last memory wasn't something waiting to escape. It was something waiting to be released. Emma whispered, "My mother." Her grandfather nodded. "She left one final memory for you." The room changed. Her mother appeared. Emma's breath caught. "Mom." Her mother smiled. "My beautiful girl." Emma began crying. "I miss you. I know. I wanted you back. I know. I was angry. You were allowed to be." Emma looked at her. "Why did you leave me?" Her mother stepped closer. "I didn't. You disappeared. I protected you from a world that was never meant to be yours." Emma shook her head. "You should have told me." "I should have." "Why didn't you?" "Because I was afraid." Emma smiled through tears. "You were afraid too." Her mother nodded. "Everyone was." She touched Emma's face. "But fear doesn't mean we stop loving." Emma closed her eyes. I thought healing meant forgetting. Her mother smiled. No. Healing means remembering. She touched Emma's heart. And choosing to keep living anyway. Emma cried. Her mother stepped backward. It's time. No. Emma, I don't want to lose you again. You aren't losing me. Her mother smiled. I'm becoming part of the life you choose. Emma reached for her. Her fingers passed through light. Mom, I love you. I love you too. The memory began fading. Her mother whispered one final sentence. Don't spend your life looking for the dead. Make your life worth remembering. The light disappeared. Emma returned to the old house. Daniel was holding her. Nora was crying. Emma looked at her palm. The silver tear had become a tiny mark shaped like a star. Then, it disappeared. The house became completely silent. The last memory had been released. The boundary was gone. Forever. Emma walked outside. The sun was high now. For the first time, she didn't feel watched. She didn't feel followed. She didn't feel haunted. She simply felt alive. Daniel stood beside her. So, Emma smiled. So, what happens now? Emma looked toward the horizon. Now we live. Nora laughed softly. That sounds almost too simple. Emma smiled. Maybe simple is what we needed. Daniel took Emma's hand. She looked at him. Are you afraid? He shook his head. Not anymore. She rested her head against his shoulder. Nora stood beside them. 3 people who had survived something none of them could ever fully explain. 3 lives connected by memories, but no longer controlled by them. Emma looked towards the old house one last time. The place had once been a prison. Now it was simply a house. She smiled, then turned away. They walked down the road together. Behind them, the old house remained silent. The windows reflected the morning sun. And for just a moment, Emma thought she heard her mother's voice carried by the wind. Keep going. She smiled and kept walking. Because some stories are not about escaping the darkness. They are about learning that you can walk through it and still find your way back to the light. Emma had died once. She had crossed the boundary. She had remembered what everyone wanted her to forget, and in the end, she discovered the truth. The past cannot be changed. The dead cannot always be brought back. And some wounds never completely disappear, but love can survive them. Memory can become a blessing instead of a prison. And sometimes, the greatest miracle isn't coming back from death. It's choosing to live after you've survived it. Emma looked at Daniel, then at Nora, and smiled. The sun rose higher, the road stretched ahead, and this time, there was no darkness waiting at the end. Only life, only love, only tomorrow. The end.